Today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take y'all out here and let y'all see how I actually come out here and look for these things. It's gonna be a really interesting thing, so stay tuned. Well, what people don't know about me is I don't just come out here and take pictures. I come out here to look. And if I sense them, I usually know if they're out here because I sense them. I know where the places to look is, but it's better just to, like I'm going to show you now, it's better just to do the way I do it. Always is in certain areas down here. And then I'll give you an example in a second. If I see it, might have went past already. Let me look. Can you stop it?
Yeah, go ahead.
There used to be, Birdman and several other ones about over in here. So what I'm gonna do is use this camcorder just to see, because it's cleared up a little bit now. So if there's anything back in there, I might can see it. The sun ain't so bright. Well, it looks like some type of white ones back in there. A big white Bigfoot back in there, actually. It's hard filming through these. See, why people always want to know why the pictures are so grainy and blurry is because we have to film through all this brush. And when you're filming through this brush, it makes it really hard to get a clear picture. See, like I said, he's been disappeared or lost focus because of these trees. What I was saying earlier is you don't get discouraged when you don't see anything. You just move on to the next spot. And sometimes you just take what the Sasquatch give you. And like I said, when you go out to these spots, I mean like this one right here, what people don't know about this one is where that Bigfoot jumped out of that Bigfoot jumped out of that thing right there and ran up on that hill. The video don't do it justice because it was standing right here in that orb state and it went all the way up there to that hill. That's where I captured it, way up on that hill. So people think it was just he went to point A, point B, but he didn't. He went there that fast and that quick and then sat down up on that little hill up there. So, most people don't understand how far he had to go to get to where he went. Now there's something, I don't know, let me see. There's something white right here. It may just be the darn shine off the tree, but it's best that when you look and you double check and make sure. And like I said, it's just the sun beaming down on that tree making it white. But that can fool you. Look at that tree right there. From a distance, if anybody sees that tree, they could perceive it's a white Bigfoot, but it's not. All right. Did we get it this time? There was once I was out here and my wife and daughter were back over this way. So, I was waiting on them so I could move to my next spot. So I went up to this way. And I just you know, I was just looking. So I just stayed right here, and I stayed right here, and I kept looking up there, and I kept noticing something. So I put my camcorder up, and I started filming that area up in there, and I locked on to a face, and once it got into focus, it was a dog man. And it was a really clear dog man, and that video is, to me, is one of my more favorite ones because it was so you know, it happened too fast. It's so unexpected is what I'm thinking of. But you know, you think about it, you know, you don't usually expect to see anything up here, but that day he was there, and I mean, really hadn't been anything up there since. What I usually see out here, this is just usually a walk for me, but I started messing around with spirit boxes, and this spot right here, you know, has got one of the coolest spirit box sessions, because not only did the guy tell me who he was, but he also, when I asked him did he want a cigar, he actually responded he wanted one. And it wasn't long after that, me and this other guy that was out here, we both smelled the cigar smell. I mean, how crazy is that, you know? And you go on down, you know, you go on down back toward this away. And what's crazy about this away is, always pays to, like I said, it always pays to stop and look, because you just don't know. You know, you get that sense that maybe you should look up that way, but in this case, there's nothing. Maybe one right there. It was back 2 years ago, last winter. 2 years ago, I had come out here when it had, you know, still snow on the ground and stuff, and this area right in here was covered in snow, but where it had melted, you know, I came up through here, and I kid you not, multiple huge Bigfoot tracks, you know, rows of them, and the reason why you could see them so good is because when the snow had melted, you can see the toe prints and stuff a little bit better. And most people seen that on my journey with monsters, but they've seen the picture, but they haven't seen and hadn't got the story of where I found them. And to me, the story behind the pictures, the stories behind the structures, the stories behind the creatures, you know, that's what the best thing is. Alright. One thing people don't know, and I know they hear me out of breath sometimes when I'm doing these videos, what people don't know is there's a really steep hill. And somebody like me who has bad knees, this is a butt kicker trying to walk up this thing. You know, one big reason is they put new rock on this thing a couple years ago, or a year ago, and even if you got the best shoes, you're not going to be able to walk it because again, you get winded, because you know, when you got bad knees, it just ain't good for you to darn, you know, do it. I usually stop right here and take a break, try to catch my breath back before I go. I'll top this next one up here, and you know, it's not as fun as you think it is. And you know, that's why I don't come out here every day anymore. You know, I just come out here whenever I have the time to do it, you know. But that hill will kick anybody's tail. I don't get how people run up and down it, but I sure can't. Just imagine what you would do if this happened to you, you know. Let me show you something real quick. People would look back down in here, see that brown down in there, and they would assume that's a Bigfoot. But that's just an uprooted tree. But some people tend to film those uprooted trees. Now, there was some over at that other trail I used to go to, you know, that had these huge uprooted trees, but Sasquatch would get in there and sit in them, and then they would cover themselves with the mud. I've never seen that anywhere else but there. It's kind of weird. But to get back to what I was saying, if imagine you're walking like I am right now, and I'm looking at my phone. So I'm paying attention to my phone. I'm not looking at nothing else. I'm thinking there ain't nothing through here, so I'm just gonna go through here. And then all of a sudden, something goes and grabs my arm. I stop and I look around. I look up there. I look around up there, and then all of a sudden he comes into focus. There's a Bigfoot up on this hill right here. Now this Bigfoot, let's see if he's up there now, but what had happened is the Bigfoot had grabbed my arm. The reason he did, there was 2 copperhead snakes crawling across here. And he grabbed my arm to keep me from walking right on top of one of them. And to me, you know, I'm so grateful that he did that, because I step on a snake in the middle of this trail with nobody out here. You know, who knows what would have happened. You know, the weird thing about, you know, and I imagine everybody's experienced this, the weird smells that are out here. You know, there's weird smells out here right now, but it's not a funky Sasquatch smell. It's just a weird smell. I mean, I went different places. I smelled something that smells like it's dead. You know, I've been out here too in the freaking pouring rain and filming in a spot where I was at, and the worst, you know, the worst possible kind of smell. You know, if you ever smell what I call raw sewage and bad body odor, if you smell that and it's really strong, there's a Sasquatch close. If not even, he may be behind you. But in the pouring rain that day, he was right behind me. I mean, even go back to where I used to live. You know, always you knew when they had been out there, because there would either be a skunk smell out there or that raw sewage smell. You knew he had just been there. And you know, that is what I try to explain to people. When you understand that smell is one of the smells. There's a raw, wet dog smell that you can smell. There's a light skunk smell. There's also, and you can tell this too, there's a candy smell. And we smelt the candy smell the day you know, a female Bigfoot had run through our garage to have a baby, and that was one of the most unique things ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One of the most craziest, most impressive things that I've ever seen, what happened right here. I mean, the weather since messed it up, but one time around 5:30 and it was getting dark, I had walked by this and almost like I had a feeling, hey, I need to turn around and come back. So I come back, and and there was a Bigfoot. Had his face stuck in that little thing right there. But he had to have been down on his knees. This thing was even further up, and it was up higher, but the weather's tore it down now. But he was smiling at me, and of course that video is in my Journey with Monsters. But here's the even cooler thing. I come out here with a spirit box. I come right to this spot right here, and I say, hey, it's my Bigfoot friend here, because I'm thinking the energy's still here. So I said, hey, it's my Bigfoot friend here. And all of a sudden I hear, hold on, and then way comes clear as day out of that spirit box. So don't tell me they can't hear you. Don't tell me they can't communicate through a spirit box, because they can. They can communicate with you telepathically, and here's something you don't see every day. A tree that has the face of a Bigfoot. And no line. I've been out here so many times and taking pictures of this tree, and that face changes. It changes almost every single time I come here. And the reason I believe he is here is I think he's a spirit tree. And I think he may be the spirit tree that, you know, watches over these woods. And you know, I think he's got a connection with the Sasquatch too. Because I know they said they carved the mouth and the eyes in him, but the shape of his face and everything looks exactly like a Bigfoot. This spot right in here, I tend to look at sometimes. Back in there, usually nothing, but like if I'm going to look at it right now, I mean, the camera, you know, I have to, what I have to do is make sure before I go filming if there's something actually there. And you know, I'm looking right now because there's usually something back in here, but just making sure there's nothing here, but I might get something down in there. Hold on. Looks like there's something down there. See a head. But didn't see the head and the shoulders. I wasn't fooled with it, but it looks like there's something down there. Yep, definitely now. Look at his head. A lot of times they'll be way down in the bottom here. Like one's coming through down there too. See, easy to look. Sometimes there's something there. I'm standing right here cooling off because the wind is blowing so good right in here, and sometimes you'll be out here and it'd be so freaking hot. There won't be no wind, so I'll get up where the bulls are and that'd be the only wind that you can get. But you know, even up here, I'll look back down in there. So they have some times where I wish I can look down there. So usually the gathering up is back over there. I don't know why this is not that Sasquatch, but I think it's because this area over here has creeks and ponds and people walk by here. So I'm going up to my and look right here. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there's definitely a footprint right there. And it has toes. But it ain't a real big one, so if it is one, I'll assume it's a juvenile because it's probably about that big, but it's wider. It's about that wide and about that big. So I'm thinking it might be a juvenile. You know, it definitely ain't a human. Call the area where I've got, you know, really good Bigfoot picture. A video really good, the one of the snake, the Bigfoot, and the snake, the Bigfoot, and the ghost, that's what it was. I also got the Dust Dog Man video out here, that got it right here. Something about this area right here, that's really, really had so much in it. You know, that's why I come back to this area, even if there's nothing here. You never know what come out here. What might show up. Like right now. What this is. On a tree. Anything is out there. You have to give them a couple minutes. Sometimes they might not be out here when I'm out here. And there could be one that just pops up. Like this one. One thing you can say about when I come out here and do this stuff is that you don't understand when it's 80, 90 degrees out here like it is right now. You know, it will take a toll on somebody. You know, I've been out here and it's been so bad I've gotten delirious. I've been at that other place the same way. You know, I've been at that other place the same way. I'd get 3 miles in and have no breeze or nothing, and it will really wreak havoc on you too, you know. And the worst time, I think, it felt good, but it was the worst time is when I got about right back down there and the bottom fell out, and it was raining so bad, and I still had a good mile to walk. I'm walking with my camcorder. As you see, I don't have nothing to put it in, and my cell phone. And I walked this whole 1.5 miles in the rain and got drenched, thinking that when I got home, my cell phone was going to be history and my camcorder. But I found out this camcorder is waterproof. But you don't know till you test it. Well, I'll tell you what, Bruno, being out here, you know, really wasn't much out here, but I didn't expect it. You know, I didn't expect it because you were with me, and a lot of times they like to come out when I'm by myself. And I don't know what it is about them when they do that, or maybe, just maybe, you know, it's that time of year where there's not that many out here. I mean, that's happened before, you know, but there's going to be days when there's none out here, and there's going to be days when there's a ton out here. And who knows, I recorded a couple of videos. You don't know till I get home and look at them. I may have something after all, but it's been a good day anyway.